Hey everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. This is another week, Wednesday night live Area Scouts broadcast. This is our first initial ProCast of Area Scouts. We're going to be doing these again every Wednesday night. These lives are going to feature our top advisors, directors, some special guests that we have lined up here coming up in the coming weeks. And again, that's going to be every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. We will be recording every one of these events and posting them to the YouTube page as well as our social media pages. We're also going to go over upcoming events as we go through these every week as well to make sure that everybody's up to date on those, as we've just added a special page to the website that also enables parents and athletes to go right in and sign up for these events as we start to create them moving forward. So tonight we have our normal hosts. Myself, my name is Lance Baldwin. I'm the CEO of Area Scouts. We have our Director of Sports Medicine and Performance, Dr. Anthony Anzillo. We have our Director of Baseball Operations, Brian Murray. And we have our guest, our special guest tonight is our Assistant National Director of Hitting, Brian Burgamy. And I'm going to let both Brians start this show off this week. And before we give a full rundown of Area Scouts and exactly who we are as an organization and why we got this whole thing started. So I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic to both of you, and we'll pick it up after you're done.
All right. Thanks, Nancy. And welcome, Brian. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
We talk all the time, man.
You too. Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Really, laid back interview here, just kind of learn a little bit about you, about your experience in the past in your career, and kind of walk you through this. Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. So you were an All-American baseball player at Wichita State, recruited right out of high school, earned a scholarship. How do you think the recruitment process differs today than when you were in high school?
Well, I mean, I would say go back to when I was, when I was getting recruited, I guess, or when I was putting myself in position to be recruited. It was in my junior year of high school. I had to go try out. It was a camp that you had to try out in Oklahoma, where I grew up. You had to try out to get on a Sun Belt Classic team, which is a junior Sun Belt. I'm not even sure if it still goes on right now, but all the Sun Belt Classic teams from Oklahoma, Ohio, Florida, Georgia, all these different teams, Texas, would meet in Oklahoma, in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and play in a tournament. And you had to make the team, and I made the junior Sun Belt team during a tryout. Once I made the team, little did I know that I was playing in front of other colleges and particularly Wichita State, where I played, where I was where I earned my scholarship or was signed to. And but to go back to the question, I mean, think about that from back then and then how things are going now. I mean, I hear a lot of obviously the recruiting process is really tough, and you have a lot of athletes out there vying for positions on all kinds of different teams and different levels, from Division I, Division II, NAIA, and all those divisions and all those classes are really good because, especially, I mean, think about the lower levels. I mean, like not the lower levels, I guess you say, but the other colleges, the smaller colleges, you don't have to have that long. You don't have to be there for 3 years, like in Division I or things like that. Like I had to do, you had to wait there for 3 years and develop. NAIA and JUCOs are obviously 2 years and they go, but NAIA and certain, they are able to play for a year and still be able to still be draft eligible as far as I know. So there's different ways of going about it and how you, but I see it's different as hear a lot of like players getting looked at age 14, and it's so crazy to think about how I go back and think about me at 14 getting looked at by major colleges. That was just like, that would absolutely blow my mind. I wouldn't know what to do with it. So I see how lots of things can be struggling, and I can see how, me having to go, lots of things have changed and gotten more serious, I guess, for the younger athletes. But also at the same time, it's almost the same as, I had to go out and, make a team and find myself, go out almost similar to, what they do now is going out, to travel ball and putting themselves out there so these teams can see them. And because I came from a smaller city in Oklahoma, a smaller town in Oklahoma, and there's not many scouts or not many things not many colleges looking around there. I only expected to go to a smaller school in Oklahoma. And then, things kind of took off after I kind of put myself out, got was able to, to make the team for the Sunbelt Classic team, and it took off from there. But I can see, like I said, some of it's the same and some of it's different. It's very intense. I think it's, to be honest, quite honest with you, I think it's a little bit overboard, but I understand both sides of it. I think it's a little much to be checking out 14-year-olds, for college baseball. But it is what it is, and hopefully some of the parents and kids can handle the pressure of that's putting them, that kind of, I guess spotlight's putting them in.
Yeah, I feel like maybe colleges nowadays feel the pressure too, because social media has made it so easy for colleges to see all these different 14, 15, 16-year-olds, right? So, I think a lot of colleges might feel pressure if they don't sign a kid, then somebody else is just going to come in and sign them at 15, right?
Yeah, because you get, they call it the college, what is it, the carousel, for a reason. Everybody's always switching jobs around the country. I mean, if you don't you get a certain amount of wins at a college, they send you, they try to find a new one, a new coach to get the wins up to their part, the level, especially the major colleges, the SEC, the ACC conferences. They don't mess around with, they expect to win, and I can understand why they want to go and try to recruit try to find different ways of recruiting.
Right. Okay, great. So you played 16 years of minor league baseball, man. I mean, that's quite a long time for a player.
Probably too long, but
such longevity, and made it up to the AAA level. So fantastic. You played all over the world. You played in Canada, Mexico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Australia. So what was your favorite country to play in besides the United States? I mean, and talk about your experience in that country.
Oh man, it's hard to say. I've had great experiences in all of them. Baseball wise, I say the toughest place to play out of the country is definitely Dominican Republic. That's where I played the second half of the year. It's when all the big leaguers are coming out to play, and you're in the playoff hunt, and it's a tougher place to play. You're going to face the most high caliber pitching that you'll face in a winter ball situation. Venezuela was amazing. Mexico was amazing. The atmosphere, the energy during these games, and Dominican, it was just crazy. The love and the excitement everybody has for these games, especially the fans when they go out and watch them. It's a shock when you go play in different countries, and they, especially in the Latin American countries, they celebrate it and they go about it a different way than obviously here. It's a little bit more reserved here, but everyone's you hear the samba music in Venezuela up in the crowd. You hear a lot of everybody dancing the whole game, enjoying. It's like a big party, it's great. A lot of energy. They always, you always come with a lot of energy behind you. So and if you play well and if you play hard and they see you, the way you play and how you help the team win or whatever it might be, they love you forever. I mean, the fans down there love you forever. But I would say, I also have to mention Australia, because I had probably the best winter I've ever had in my life during, going to winter ball and everything. Playing in Australia was awesome. Not as high caliber, obviously, as a league as those other places, but the people and just being in Australia, and every city, every place I went there was just amazing. Never been around such as a whole, a group of people that are so amazingly nice and will do anything for you. Especially the host families that they obviously have to say hi to, the Fusons and the Dunbars. They took me in there and they were great. They, nothing asked, no questions asked, just feed you every night and hold a conversation,
That's pretty cool.
It was crazy. It's very, very great people. And like I said, everywhere I've gone, I've had great experiences, very little bad experiences. I've had some episodes with some food, I won't go. I won't say where, but I've had episodes. Some eating some bad food. But it is. I mean, and that's obviously my fault. The situation was my fault. So, but all in all, I mean, it was everywhere I've been. It was always a great experience.
Yeah, it's funny because when you think Venezuela, I mean, people outside of the baseball community don't understand the Venezuelan baseball players and fans are so passionate. I mean, they love the sport, man. They love it. I've actually talked recently with a couple of guys down in Venezuela, and they are so passionate about their players that are in the MLB and all of the things they have going on in the country there. So great. All right. Thank you. Awesome answer to that. All right. As the Area Scouts Associate National Director of Hitting, what do you hope to accomplish with youth athletes on this platform, and what attracted you to Area Scouts?
Well, I hope to. I mean, basically, I hope to get all the athletes, on the right track, going in the right where they need to be, as far as as a technical side, mechanics, technical side of hitting. I would want them to be able to learn how to move their bodies while they're making their moves during their hitting process. I mean, learn their bodies, feel what's happening, why they're doing what they're doing. You can't really make adjustments with yourself and learn certain movements that are necessary to be able to hit in general and to be good at hitting. Be a good hitter. So, I mean, they have to be able to feel those movements and get themselves in those positions on a consistent basis. And I hope to really drive that home and really help the athletes learn themselves, and then learn how to put themselves in the right positions. What I feel is the right positions. Obviously, as a hitter, there's so much different information out there right now, and I don't see that changing. There's all different types of direction and teachings and you really got to go with your gut and what you really feel is right for you when it comes to that. But I can only speak for myself and what I know works and what I've learned from others over my 20-year professional experience and learning from those who've been in the game for 50 years. I mean, not much has changed in baseball. They like to put some gift wrapped on the same stuff and reprocess it and send it out there and try to change some of the verbiage means a lot nowadays instead of how they change the same movement, how they say it is a little bit different. But I really just want to make sure the young athletes are put on the right track and give them the best opportunity to succeed in whatever and however long they want to play baseball. Whatever it is to them, what's their expectations of themselves? What's how do they just want to make that high school team? Do they want to be the best high school player they can possibly be? Whatever it might be, I just want to put them on the right track and help them achieve that. What was the second part? I'm sorry.
No, that was good. No, and what attracted you to the Area Scouts?
Oh, I mean, shoot. I mean, right away, I'm a big. As you can tell, I really like the movement part and getting athletes in the right position. If I had like a platform such as this that helps athletes put themselves in and be able to move better, be able to identify those things, identify possible injuries, identify things of that nature, I would have jumped all over it at a young age. I would have been, this is what I want to do because my head was set on playing baseball for my life since I was 7 years old. That's what I'm going to do, and there's a lot of players out there that are like that. And that's not just baseball, other sports as well. They're dead set. I want to be professional this, I want to be professional that. And they're serious about it. They want to go after it. And this platform, to me looks, it brings out, it gives those players the ability to catch and to really direct them and like I talked about with what I want to do with hitters, put them in the right position and directs them in the right direction to get better at their movements and progress and become better athletes. And plus the inexpensiveness of the program itself is absolutely bonkers compared to what other platforms offer, other things that are similar to this platform. They're a crazy amount, and there's no and for the evaluators out there that are with Area Scouts, they obviously are there and to continue to follow these athletes as they progress and be with them, as we go. And then, but in other platforms, you see it's just like, hey, come here for a week and spend a lot of money, and here's you go. That's what your readout is. That's what you are. There's no like kind of following those athletes and try to help them progress. There's just it's just kind of say hi and bye. And I really like the that process of it. I really thought obviously for the amount of what it cost, and then the kind of the closeness and the the bonding that those evaluators, and how really trying to get athletes to go, and the program is really trying to get athletes to achieve whatever it is they want to achieve, and really put them on a good path, and help them get to where they want to go.
Awesome. Yeah, so you spent some time as a minor league hitting coach. So how did you get that opportunity, and what changes did you have to make transitioning from a player to then a coach?
Oh, it was really, really weird. I played in 2017. My last year was, and I thought I was done. I played with the New Jersey Jackals as a Frontier League now, but they were in the Can-Am at that time. A buddy of mine that I used to play with the Phillies, he was the manager, and he asked me if I'd come and play, I was about done, but I said I'll give it one more last go because I just got finished playing with I can't remember who I played with before that, but I was going to give it one more. It was I played with so many teams. I lose track. I've been everywhere, played with everybody. But I played with the New Jersey Jackals, and I could feel during that course of the season, it's not a lot of games compared to a normal minor league season or a big league season. I think it was like close to just 100. And during that course of the season, I really felt I can really tell the difference. I mean, obviously the level of play is a little bit lower. These are like A-ball players, rookie ball, and some mixed in with some older guys. But these guys, but the league itself is pretty good. I mean, there's some guys that are working their way up in the big leagues now that started out in that league. So it's kind of but I went and played there. I realized during the course of the season that my body cannot do it anymore. You just felt it. It was a level under what I was used to playing in, and I just couldn't. I did pretty good still. I still hit very well, but I was hitting really well, and then as the season kept going, I kept going down with my average and my some things that I were doing. So I realized I just couldn't keep it going anymore. I was at that age, and then I got a call to play in winter ball. After I decided to retire, thinking of retiring, that was it. So I went to go play, in January, like towards at Dominican, and I said, yeah, why not? I'll go play. Keep it going. I didn't do very well. I wasn't exactly prepared. I thought I was, but I wasn't. I knew in the back of my head that I wasn't quite ready to play, and I got beat up a little bit, but I did okay considering. But I only played for a month, and that was it. Went back home, and then during that time, I was having interviews while I was in Dominican. I was having interviews with different teams because I was filling it out about resume. I sent all my resumes to every team, starting to think about going into coaching, and had a couple interviews. Nothing really stuck, but lo and behold, the St. Louis Cardinals. I didn't even send a resume out to them. They contacted me first, and with basically a questionnaire about a fourth coach program they were doing with their organization, and nothing else was working out. So we went into I filled out the questionnaire and sent it back in. And while I was over in Dominican, it's all email stuff. And then I was doing my interviews with some of the people with the Cardinals while I was in Dominican as well. And they ended up offering me the job with as a fourth coach, which has scouting involved, plus coaching, helping with pregame duties, cage work, throwing BP, hitting fungos, doing all the things that the manager needs you to do as a kind of assistant coach, and then coach first base at times when you were able to get out, when you're not, because part of the deal was to go out into the stands and scout the other teams with that job. So I did, for the most part of the first part of the year, I would scout, and I would work with the hitters during pregame stuff and everything like that with the hitting coach Mark Bodaska, who's since retired now, but he ended his career up finally getting into the big leagues, which took him a very long time to do. But I think he's retired in Hawaii now, which is good for him. That's, if anybody knows Buddha, Mark Bodaska, he's a crazy guy, great guy though. Sorry, I keep veering off a little bit, but they give me. I go straight to Memphis at AAA level. At that time in 2018, if anybody remembers, that team was absolutely stacked. Everybody who's in the big leagues now, it was on that. Was on that. I mean, Luke Voigt, all the guys in the Cardinals right now, we're all on that team in 2018. Tyler O'Neill, all those guys. Randy Arozarena. I think he was in 18 towards the end because he was in AA and he moved up later. But a lot of guys in the big leagues right now that were on that team, and they end up we dominated all year. Those guys were out there killing. They were running away with first place. Ended up winning the championship and the Pacific Coast Championship and the national championship, the AAA national championship that year as well. So it was a really, really good first year. But something interesting happened during that year is kind of funny. I was the fourth coach for most of the year. The big league team fired their hitting coaches and their manager. Matheny got fired in 2018, and their hitting coaches were fired with them. And they replaced it, interim level with Schulte, who's up there now, and they had to bring up the third base, our hitting coach, Mark. They took him up to the big leagues, and he was he was one of the hitting coaches with one of our hitting coordinators, who was one of my mentors, George Greer. They sent them both out to be the hitting coaches, and didn't bring anybody else in to be the hitting coach for the AAA team. They decided, hey, basically everyone signed off on me taking care of it. So with the help of Stubby Clapp, who's now the first base coach with the Cardinals, he was a manager down there at that time. He, helped as much as he could with his managerial duties, but I was basically in charge of making sure these guys were hitting. And by the end of the year, we actually ended up, a good 5 points higher than where we started. So,
good.
And where the hitting coach left and I took over. So we ended up, as a team average, we went up. So I like to pat myself on the back on it. I don't know if it was anything to do with me, but, but that was.
We'll say it did. So don't
worry. Right. But to go into I'm sorry that was a long story, but as a player, I really didn't make it too much of a difference because towards the end of my career with the Mets and the Dodgers, as I was getting still signed when in my mid 30s, they were teams were still calling me up because I could still play, and basically my duties were, without giving me the actual title, as like a player coach. I was coaching ever since, because when back in 2014 I was 33. We won a championship here with the Binghamton Mets. I live in Binghamton, that's why I say here, but we won a championship. Who's now the Rumble Ponies, and I was obviously the oldest player on the team. I was there to help all the 21-year-olds in the AA roster, Steve Matz and all these other players that are up there in the big leagues now that were on that team, here to kind of be a player coach, mentor. You show them how, kind of show them the way, I guess you can say. And I was actually older than our hitting coach that year. So a lot of players, and Luis was great, Luis Rivera, some of the players, and he was okay. They signed off on, they were okay with it. Pedro Lopez was the manager at that time. They signed off on letting some of the hitters just work with me because they wanted to work with me, kind of one-on-one, and they were fine with it. So I was lucky to have some understanding coaches that didn't feel like I was stepping on their feet when I was trying to help the players. So I was coaching for kind of a while before kind of somewhat coaching. And then, I knew once I was always done playing, I knew what I wanted to do right away is to get into coaching. And I got to do it for 3 years. So, obviously the fire still to the coach. I still coach, youth and other, and give lessons and all these things. And obviously I'm always open for different opportunities in the coaching world. But I always knew that once I've gathered so much knowledge just from having to, do it myself and learn from so many others, so many great people that, I wanted to, always wanted to keep, move it, pay it back and give it to everyone else.
Great. That's a
I I have to add something here. So my earliest memories of baseball and really being a student of baseball was the 90s. So, and I remember back then there were occasionally, AAA players mostly that hung around. But for anyone that doesn't know, you have to be someone special to hang around that AAA level in your 30s. They don't typically keep someone around at that point anymore unless you're actually contributing to.
You're serving some kind of purpose, hopefully.
Yeah.
They're there for you.
That in itself to me was impressive. Just hearing your whole story originally when you first came on board was.
It definitely doesn't happen. Things have changed really quick.
Yeah, no, they don't do that.
Now you see a lot of guys are getting forced up in the big leagues, and I can go off on a whole story of how I don't agree with that in general, but. A lot of these players, but you can't knock their talent because they're very talented people. Obviously, they can play up there, but they haven't gone through the ringer of learning the game, and as much as they should by the time they get to that level, and in my opinion. So, others have their own. So, but yeah, they don't do it anymore. It's very, very rare to have. You might see your late 20s guys now, early 30s, but not, towards the mid 30s guys getting signed anymore. But that was normal. It was normal. I was towards the end of that kind of era, I guess you can say, quote unquote era of signing, older free agents. Now it's changed, but when I was playing and I was young and my first time in AA, there was a 37-year-old on our team. They were mid 30s still. There were guys still playing, and it was like, it was a little bit different, I guess, back then. It's totally different now. Everyone's 20, 21 and, in AAA, getting up there really fast and knocking on the door. So
we have a couple questions left, but I just I want to just do this one question here because we're going to go into a little bit of presentation as well. So how do you feel the base assessment that we do for athletes ties into performance on the field? And I think you touched on this a little bit about movement and biomechanics, but
yeah.
You've done these base assessments. So tell me how you feel the base assessment can improve your performance, on the field, on the baseball diamond.
Well, I can say this for a fact. Anthony's done a great job with the assessment in general and how it covers the full spectrum of how an athlete needs to move in all different sports. It covers everything. And it immediately detects anything wrong in an athlete's movements. Go from the squat. You never know if you don't really pay attention to certain things unless you actually do it. It's like you put yourself in that squat with the hands above your head, above your head, and you squat down, and you're not leaning. Your hands are not going forward over your knee. They're going straight up. The spine, everything's staying straight, and you can get down and hold it for 3 seconds. There's not many athletes can do that. And you really say, hey, you can really locate things like that and say, hey, that can be worked on and that can be helped. That can be fixed. You can become better, more flexible. You can have a, better, movement, range of movement in that area. We can help you with that, but that's the main thing is all those movements. It helps those athletes detect what exactly they need to work. Even the best athletes that you see in your area, there's still going to be something there that can be improved on and corrected. And I think, like I said, it touches on everything, and you go through the whole thing. These athletes are spent. It's a good, real, well-rounded. They get after it, which is good. Those athletes that go after it, they do, and they're spent, and they've worked everything. They've worked the total body and even their mind, to test themselves. So it's really fun to watch, to really do the whole assessment and watch the athlete go through some of the struggles and see them fight through it. And then, really kind of see and kind of really feel afterwards. Yeah, I can see where I can get better at this and what I need to do. And you can see it in their face.
Yeah, I love doing the base assessment, man. I really enjoy it. And I've done 68 athletes on, elite teams that, yeah, there's always something that they can improve on. And if they're looking for an edge, there's a good edge for you.
Right.
So become a better athlete, become better athlete than the guy next to you.
It's a direct, yeah. It's a direct, it's directly involved in your performance. I mean, now there's some things, and if, all those movements leads right into those natural movements back on the field that you don't really realize what you're doing and using them for. It goes right back to the natural movements that you're going to go onto the field while you're trying to play the game, play any kind of game. And you're just going through your natural, you're just playing, and those you're going to realize, doing the workouts and doing the assessments and finding those things out it leads you to being able to master, get back to those movements with more ease and do them correctly and be just a all around better performer on the field.
Yeah, no, great. So to finish up the interview, I'd like to give you a little plug. So if anyone is in the Binghamton, New York area or northern PA, check out RB Squared Baseball. That is Brian's baseball company. So he works with athletes up there, and he's definitely a guy that all of the athletes in that area should check out and really, better their game. You heard it from him. He's been around the block. He's seen it, done all of that, worked with professional athletes. So check him out if you can. And thank you very much for your time tonight, Brian. And again, his company is RB Squared Baseball. So,
Brian, can you maybe put put that information in the chat, and then we'll broadcast it here so everybody has that. And also we can put that in the Facebook group so that everyone that got this feed from there, they could go back there and get that information. And before you share your screen, Brian, and go through the platform, I kind of want to just give a quick rundown on the platform, just 2 minutes here, and then introduce our team. And then Brian's going to actually walk everyone through the whole process as a parent and athlete coming on board and going through our program. So Area Scouts really is a one-of-a-kind platform. It's data-driven, provides athletes with a real-time, complete online athlete resume, which features their historical data, their current data, which consists, it's not limited to, but also has the assessments that we just spoke of, the base assessment, which is a state-of-the-art movement assessment that Anthony's going to go into some detail here about shortly, the on-field, on-court, on-ice performance assessment, depending on what sport your athlete is in, mental performance assessments, nutritional assessments, and now a neuro assessment. The same neuro assessment that is currently being used on NBA, NHL, and MLB professionals in today's game. And again, for a fraction of the cost, which, typically the programs out there right now, I would say maybe 1% of the parents and athletes can truly afford without stretching themselves and getting themselves in a bad financial situation. And we wanted to be that one-stop platform that really gave every athlete, the other 99% as well as the 1%, a chance to be in the same programs being taught by top-of-the-line instructors, trainers, that these athletes that can afford those higher programs. Now everyone could be part of this on Area Scouts. And as far as the background we have, the professionals we have behind our program, obviously we just heard from Brian Burgamy, but to round out the program, Brian, again, on the hitting side of baseball, we also have Josh Zeid, who is currently in the 2021 Olympics right now, so he's away from us for a couple months, but he'll be back in August. He's our National Director of Pitching. Dr. Anthony Azil, he's going to give you a description of himself when he comes on and again, go through the base assessment. But Anthony worked in the NFL, the XFL, and also worked under Dr. James Andrews. Mike Medici is National Director of Scouting. He's currently still a Major League Baseball scout, assists a lot of our evaluators who are working with the older athletes on exactly what scouts are looking for in their abilities. Lenny Donato, Assistant Director of Pitching in the Northeast. So he's helping on the pitching side as a member of the World Series Red Sox. Fred McGriff doesn't need an introduction. The Crime Dog, National Director of Hitting for baseball. Brandon Geyer just retired from Major League Baseball after an 8-year career with Cleveland and Tampa Bay. He is our Mental Performance Director as well as our Nutrition Director. Ryan Lavarnway, another 2021 Olympian for Area Scouts. Again, over in Tokyo right now and returning again August 15th. Ryan is our National Director of Catching. Gregorio Petit, National Director of Fielding. Gregorio played for 7 different teams, played 6 different positions. Our Director of Fielding, Joey Lai on the softball side, a third Olympian for 2021 on the Area Scouts team. She is our National Director of Fielding for softball. Carissa Holman-Gay, National Director of Pitching. Alyssa Reyna, National Director of Catching. Jordan Roberts, National Director of Hitting. On the softball side, football, Dewan Harris played for the Green Bay Packers, National Director of Running Back. Cecil Shorts, National Director of Wide Receivers, played with Jacksonville. Reggie Russ played with the Chargers, National Director of Defensive Backs. I got that one right this week. Mike Hollis, National Director of Punting and Kicking, holds several records for the Jacksonville Jaguars for kicking and had an elusive career with the Jags. On volleyball side, we have 4 D1 directors for volleyball: Kay Musselman, Tony Glessner, Jen Snowbarger, Courtney Tierney. And again, these are the sports that are currently on the platform now. We are just getting ready to start putting together hockey, lacrosse, and rugby. And those will be, especially the hockey side and the rugby side, have already reached 7 different countries on that side, with directors and evaluators coming on board in those sports. So we're only a year into this, and the strides that we've made thus far have been unbelievable, and we're expecting to grow probably 10 times the amount now in the next year, again, with the upcoming events we have and the other directors that we have coming on board. They're coming on pretty much every month. We have new directors and working on new sports and the current sports that we have. So I'm going to let Brian have the rest of this and go through the platform, and then Anthony's going to go through base. And again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We are not going to do the Q&A tonight just because we're a little limited on time, but next Wednesday we will have the Q&A open for everybody to interact live through these calls every Wednesday night. So you are up, Brian.
Yeah, Lance, I think we need one of those like credit scrolls for our directors going forward.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. That's about it. Next sport, we're going to have to do something different.
And you have to talk as it scrolls. So all right, I'm going to share my screen now and take you through the platform itself and how to get involved. All right, Lance, can you see that? Can you guys see my screen? Just making sure.
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, awesome. Great. So Area Scouts. So Lance just went over, and this is one of the graphics of all those people he just went over here. Get this posted on the website so you guys can check that out as well. First of all, first thing that everyone does when they come on the platform with us is the base assessment. Now, Anthony's going to cover this in detail, so I am not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it is a complete outline of the overall physical foundation of the athlete and a lot of things that we talked about with Brian Burgamy, surrounding that and how you can become a better athlete, not just a better player, but a better athlete, hopefully reduce your risk of injury and really increase your performance with the different the improvements to your movements out there on the field. All right, so the first part is the base assessment. Second part is an on-field assessment, and this is going to be in line with our baseball and softball. Volleyball, football will have a similar type assessment, but it will be specific to that sport, and they will be by position instead of by aspect of the game. So baseball and softball is by aspect, so we go through catching, fielding, pitching, and hitting. We're going to take video of all of the activities they do in these aspects of the game, and we're going to break them down for fundamentals, give the athlete the development they need specific to what they need to work on. We're not just going to give them a laundry list. We're going to tell them you need to work on X, Y, and Z and really highlight the things that they can improve in their game from a fundamental standpoint. Also going to take a complete set of metrics during the on-field assessment. Hitting is going to get exit velocities, distance, bat speed, pitching, typical metrics there, velocity, spin rate, spin axis, Fielding, we're going to do glove to glove times. And why do we do glove to glove times? Because we want to see a realistic representation of an athlete catching a ball and throwing it to a target. If it's off target, the glove to glove time does not count. We want to see that they're actually accurate with their throws. And then we're going to get velocities using those glove to glove times as well. Catching, pop times, so throwing down to second base, how fast can they do that? We're going to make this very affordable for all families. So if you do the base and on-field assessment in our sports specific, you're going to pay $147. You can do the base standalone, and base, want to make this clear, base can be done for any athlete in any sport. Doesn't even have to be a sport we cover. I've done basketball, I've done soccer kids, hockey kids, football, softball, baseball. So I've done the gamut there. So, you know, base is a cross-sport assessment and can be done for anyone. So you can do with that for $97. Or if you are sports specific in the ones I just mentioned previously, you can do an on-field assessment as well, combined for $147. The premium membership, there's actually 2 levels. So the first level here is the $20 per month, and that is for sports specific. So when you get your on-field and base, you then pay $20 a month to get the base and the on-field development. You can do a base-only membership, which is only $10 per month. That is not a lot of money for all the improvements you're going to get to your movements on the field. So you can do base-only membership for $10 per month and get all of the stretches, exercises, and improvements to you as an athlete. Okay, let's go over some of our sponsors real quick, and I'm not going to go through them all here because we are a little bit short on time tonight, but we do have the Scout Hub, which helps out with recruiting. We are not a recruiting platform. We help players self-promote, and I'll go over that a little bit later. We help them self-promote through our partnership with Sports Thread, and I'll go over those profiles later, like I said. Diamond Kinetics is a partner of ours. We do have their equipment that's used with our on-field assessments for baseball and softball currently, and we use it to get velocities and bat speeds and be able to provide those metrics to the athlete. We have a partnership with New England AAU Baseball. We have a partnership with National Amateur Fall Baseball Federation for baseball leagues, which has our base assessment embedded in their leagues, so their athletes are going to get a good assessment of their overall athletic ability before they play in their leagues. And then some training equipment here, Axial Centripetal Trainer, PowerFlex Performance Cord, which I actually have one of these. It's a fantastic device that isolates the shoulder and really works the shoulder well for pitching and throwing. Clean Fuego is going to tell you how your ball spins, the spin axis. It's going to show you if you have that 12-6 kind of spin on your curveball. So that's a good training device as well. Compex is a TENS machine. And that's all of our sponsors that we have up here today. So I'm going to move on to our platform. This is what you see when you log in, and you're going to log in as an athlete, obviously, or register for an account here. You can do a free profile and get access to some great stuff as well. And I'll go over that in a little bit. This is what the athlete sees when they come in. They're going to have some personal information here, and there is an Area Scout shop. You can go in and get some gear as well, as you see a lot of the people on this webinar sporting. You have a lot of options here, and we want to make sure that we are your one-stop shop for all the questions you might have as an athlete. So if you want to be evaluated, if you need training, this would be used if you want to get specialized one-on-one training. A lot of our evaluators do one-on-one trainings and lessons. So if they don't feel comfortable doing that lesson with you, say they are like I specialize in pitching. If I have someone come to me for catching, I have other coaches in the area that I trust that I would call up and give your information to and say they're the ones that really I want you to be working with. I want to find that specialty person for you. So that's what your evaluator also can do for you. If you have a generic question, you can enter it here, and also you can view my profile as your evaluator and contact me directly. You can sign up for base, and you can also enroll as a premium athlete. You also have a button that you can use to put in your nutrition assessment and athletic mindset assessment, both of which that are free for anybody that gets a profile. So you're going to see an orange button poke up down in this list here, and you can also book assessments as well. So lots of things you can do. Even if you're a free athlete with us and not paying for that premium, you still can get some assessments and utilize our platform. All right, so behind the profile, what's in there? So we're going to have stats, right? The stats aren't what we put in, but they're what you access and put in your stats for the year. And this can go back as many years as you'd like. So you can put in all the stats you have for the last 5 years if you have them through Game Changer or another type of app, or even if you just collect them and keep them in a scorebook. You can put those in here. It gives you a really good portfolio, shows what you've done over the past years, and can really track your progress. You can do hitting, pitching, fielding, and do all those stats right in the Area Scouts platform. See all these buttons up here? We're going to next go to metrics. So you're going to have your metrics, and these are the different types of equipment that our evaluators can utilize. We have so many different types because some of our evaluators have access to different equipment, and we want to make it easy for them to do the assessments on you and get the metrics to be able to put into the system. Right here, we have a Rapsodo hitting, where we have exit velocity, total spin off the bat, launch angle, distance in feet, and the spin axis. So we do hitting, pitching, catching metrics, fielding metrics, and base running metrics. All of this will be in this one location for you. Then we go into benchmarks. Here's where the development comes in. So when we do the base assessment, you are going to get these flags, okay? Anything you do not get a score of 3 is the top score in each one of the biomechanics exercises. You will get a flag if you get a 2 or a 1. 0, as Anthony will go over, we reserve for discomfort or pain. And in these cases, you're going to get a mobility and a motor control exercise that Anthony is going to go through and take you how to get that 2 to a 3. And the great thing about our platform is if you get a 1, then you're also going to get a different exercise that's going to take you from hopefully a 1 to a 3. And I've actually seen it been done. But if you are progressing a little bit slowly on that exercises or on that assessment, you're going to get to 1 to 2 to 3. But we will get you up to that 3 in all of these biomechanics with you doing these assigned exercises and stretches. All right, and next is from the on-field assessment. So the benchmarks that are set in here when you do an on-field assessment, and they're going to be, again, by pitching, catching, hitting, and fielding. This one particularly is a leg lift, and we break down the pitching delivery into many different categories and many different objectives within those categories. So in the leg lift, these are the objectives we're looking for. This athlete had a toe dominant lift, so he or she is going to get a video from our director of pitching, Josh Zide, who's going to, take them through how to keep that pressure through the arch of the foot in the back, not get too dominant with your leg lift. And really just there's so many of these for pitching, hitting, catching, and fielding. There's so many different objectives and data points that you really can hone in on what you need to work on in your performance. All right, lastly, I'd just like to cover the Sports Thread app. Now, this is our partnership with them to help athletes self-promote themselves. They'll be able to put in their academics. They can put in videos, their stats. They can bring over their stuff from Area Scouts, put in their metrics and everything that you gain from us, and be able to send this out to any college coach in the nation. It's a great profile. They'll be able to look at this, take a look at all the information you've put in here. So if you are an Area Scouts premium member, make sure you take advantage and get your Sports Thread profile active and make sure it is filled with great information. Sports Thread also does a great job of promoting their athletes. And I've also seen a few of our Area Scouts athletes being promoted on their national Twitter pages and Facebook feeds. So this is where you want to be. This is where you want to get your name out there and really promote yourself. All right, at this point, I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over to Anthony Anzillo to talk about the base assessment.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. So my name is Anthony Anzillo. I'm our National Director of Sports Medicine and Performance here at Area Scouts. I'm a physical therapist, board certified in sports physical therapy, as well as a strength and conditioning specialist with about 10 years experience. As Lance mentioned, spent several years, about 7, working with Dr. Andrews, about 3 years volunteering with a local college football team, and then 3 full seasons in professional football in both the AAF, the XFL, and the NFL. So I've been around a lot of different settings, have seen and used a lot of different movement assessments, and really my goal in creating the base assessment was to make the best assessment that anyone has ever used, and make it extremely comprehensive, and just take all the pros and cons from other things that I've seen in the past and develop this. And really, the goal of the assessment is to identify issues that the athlete has that would limit their success, their athletic performance on the field, and place them at an increased risk of injury. So really, that's the goal of our whole program, is to improve performance on the field and to reduce injury risk. And I'm really glad when Brian Burgamy was speaking that he mentioned how these movements that we're testing in base correlate directly to movements that the athlete's going to be performing on the field. That's really spot on. So, like, for example, when someone's doing a squat, or we're seeing how far they can turn to look behind them, it goes deeper than that. We want to make sure that the athlete really has the required mobility in their spine and their hips and their shoulders, so that they can perform well on the field and do what their coach is asking them to do, and get into those positions that they need to do for catching and for hitting, and not really be limited at all physically by what their body allows them to do, especially by mobility deficits or areas of weakness. We want to be able to identify those things in the base assessment, and then immediately provide them with the corrective exercises that they need, so that they can fix those things and not have those limitations when they move on to the on-field assessment and when they are playing their sport. So that's really the whole principle behind the base assessment itself. So BASE stands for biomechanics, athleticism, sequence, and endurance. And we've got a series of tests in each of those sections which represent that category. So in biomechanics, really, we're looking at basic fundamental movement patterns. One is a squat, one is the athlete's ability to touch their toes, several others. All of those different movement patterns, they require a combination of mobility through several different joints, stability of the muscles working together, the strength of the muscles working together to support the body to allow that to happen, as well as the motor control to put all those pieces together. And we have a grading system on that, and anyone who doesn't score the best grade, as Brian Murray mentioned, will receive targeted corrective exercises to specifically improve on the most common deficits that are responsible for restricted movement. In the overhead squat example, a huge reason that athletes aren't able to squat well, and humans aren't able to squat well, is limited ankle range of motion. And limited ankle range of motion can then affect running and cutting and just all sorts of athletic movements. So, on the mobility side, they are likely going to receive a corrective exercise to improve their ankle range of motion, because that's the most common thing that's going to restrict that squat. Anyway, moving past the biomechanics section, next we go into athleticism, and that's when things get a little bit more physically demanding past just bodyweight movements. We're looking at several different tests of upper and lower body strength and power, as well as various tests of speed and agility. And we have the capability to compare an athlete's performance to what their performance should be based on norms in the research over the years, decades worth of research, as well as we continue to grow and do more assessments, gathering our own data and comparing the athlete's performance to that of their peers of a similar age group and sport, and then provide them with corrective exercises to improve their performance on the test that they don't score up to par on, to improve their strength, their power, their speed, their agility. Next, we move into the sequence section. And when we talk about sequence, we're really talking about the kinematic sequence. And what that is basically how efficiently the athlete's able to transfer power from their legs through their core and out their arms, which is really key in all athletes, but especially it's most easily recognized in a rotational athlete, such as a pitcher or a hitter or a golfer. So most of the good ones really develop their power first in their legs and then transfer that power through their core, and then the power is delivered by the bat or the club or their arm, that's being held by their arms. So that sequence and that sequential power transfer is really important. So we want to be able to measure that. We do that with a series of medicine ball throws, and the better that the athlete performs on that gives us an indication that the more that they're moving their body more efficiently. And again, we have targeted corrective exercise for improve anyone who is not up to par on that. And then finally, we move into the endurance section, and there we look at both cardiorespiratory endurance as well as core muscle endurance. And endurance is also important, back to those big two initial goals that I mentioned earlier, improving athletic performance and reducing injury risk, because fatigue is a big risk factor for both injuries and poor performance. So the more resistant an athlete is to fatigue, the better they will perform toward the end of an event, and the lower their risk of injury will be. So, and again, of course, we provide targeted corrective exercises for that too, for any poor performance that we identify there. So that's really the beauty of this whole assessment of the whole system, in my opinion, is that not only are we identifying the issues that each athlete has, but we're providing them targeted exercises to do something about it, so that they can perform their sport without those physical limitations and at a lower risk of injuries.
Thank you, Anthony.
Of course.
I also put the links in the YouTube chat underneath the comments underneath this video to be able to access the platform at areascouts.com. And if anyone is interested in joining the Area Scouts team as an evaluator, we do have a process an application process for that. Right now, we are setting up a separate page to submit resumes to. But in the meantime, if anyone would like to submit a resume, you can submit it to contact@areascouts.com, and we'll have one of our directors reach out to you and discuss coming on board Area Scouts. I'm going to let Brian kind of finish it. If you have anything else to add, did we go over all of the events coming up? You want to touch on that a little bit in the events page?
Yeah. So, Lance, maybe you can say the page, because off the top of my head, I can't. It's areascouts.online/events, I believe.
Actually, no, you can. No, if you go right to the areascouts.com page and click on events, it'll go right there. So
perfect.
Go to areascouts.com, click on the events page, and you'll see all of the upcoming events that can be sorted by state and category and time for those events. Again, we just uploaded that. That's a brand new page over the last couple weeks here. So you're going to start seeing those events populate. In the meantime, if you want to get updates to be able to be notified of those events as they pop up, we're going to be adding those a feed to the Facebook group, as well as a list from the main website. So if you go to the website and sign up your athlete, it's a free profile setup. So you just go to, again, www.areascouts.com, click Get Evaluated, and you could set up a free profile, and all of those upcoming events that get posted and approved on the platform, you will get a notification of those upcoming, in your area. So please take advantage of that as well. And Brian, do you have anything else to add?
Burgamy?
Burgamy?
No. I guess everything was pretty much covered. I was kind of looking forward to some Q&A action, getting some questions from people, but it's all right. It was hopefully the interview was up to par.
We'll give you your phone number. Don't worry.
It was on. We just have to keep. We just have to keep. We just have to keep them under an hour. But actually, anyone that has any questions can put them in the comment here, and we can definitely answer those. We just like to keep it under an hour for these calls. But we're definitely going to be having you back. We're going to be having you back. Yeah, Brian talked a little. He went over his quota there in the beginning of talking. So. But we'll definitely have you back, Brian, and do some Q&A for sure.
Well, I mean, as long as that means I didn't do too bad, if you're going to have me back. So.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone's time tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you, Brian Burgamy, for being on tonight. And
thank you.
Yep, look forward to seeing your success on the platform. Thank you, guys.